Hi, my name is Zemi Stewart. Today we're going to be discussing 4 ways you can support kids that have lost their mom. A little bit about my story. I lost my mom when I was 12 years old suddenly. She died of an asthma attack, leaving my dad alone with twins, a boy and a girl, that's myself and my brother, 12 years old, and our older sister, who actually turned 14 3 weeks before our mom passed away. And so it was a lot. That was a very challenging thing to go through. And I've done other videos speaking about the experience as a person, an individual, walking out. Motherlessness is the term that I give it. I've done multiple videos on the experience of losing a parent, losing a mom. But this year I wanted to do something different. I wanted to focus on the child that's left behind and how you, as a friend of the mother, a godparent, can really fill in the gap in that child's life. Because that's what we had growing up. My mom had a core group of friends and she picked really good godparents and they really stood in the gap for us. I can't think of any occasion when they weren't present. At least one of them wasn't present. Whether that be a birthday or a college graduation, our wedding day, my sister's wedding day, my wedding day, even funerals of family members or very close family friends, at least one of them was present. And if not present in person, which I can't think of a time when at least one of them weren't there, they were present in terms of phone calls, in terms of checking in. So we had that experience and that really helped us in so many different ways. Because when you lose your mother young, you lose your covering in a sense. You lose something so special and so valuable to your experience growing up as a woman or even a young man. And the people surrounding you can really make a difference in how you move through with your grief. And so I'm talking to you who may be a godparent and your godchild lost their mom, or you may be a friend and your best friend may have passed away, leaving behind kids, and you're wondering, what do I do? How can I support these kids who've lost someone so important in their lives? And I feel like that's why I wanted to make this video tonight. I've done videos on the experience of being someone who lost a parent. I've done multiple videos on that. I have a video called 14 Years of Motherlessness, Lessons I've Learned. I have talked about what it's like to walk through that experience and the unique things that you go through. But I wanted to take a different spin on it this year and really focus on the kids and how you can support them, how you can be in their corner. So it should be a very quick video, but hopefully it helps you be a change agent in the life of someone who really needs you, Do not take for granted your role and your responsibility in that person's life, especially as a godparent, as an aunt, as a best friend, whatever it was that you were to the person that they lost. You have a role to play and you can change a life. So let's jump right in. Number 1, meet them where they are. And when I say meet them where they are, I'm really talking emotionally, because as you know, with grief, there's a wide spectrum of emotions. They can be angry, they can be lashing out. So they can be, imagine a teenager going through all of those hormones and adding on top, they lost a mother, right? Especially if they were taken from them tragically or even a prolonged illness, they can be very upset. And you have to meet them where they are and really appreciate that if they lash out, they're not lashing out at you per se, but they just have all of the emotions that they're dealing with. And you have to be the mature one to understand that this child needs me. So often we write people off as rude or even fast, when really they just need people to come and meet them where they are emotionally. You may have someone sad who can't talk about it, who bottles up, and you have to be able to try to be there in whatever capacity that you can, whatever it is that they may be putting out as you, whether it's sadness, whether it's anger, whether it's indifference, even if they're acting like everything is cool, you have to try to be there and present to be able to break down the barriers and meet them where they are. It could be as simple as saying, good morning, thinking about you. I love you so much. A simple text message, a simple phone call, showing up, lunch, whatever capacity that it may be. Just meet them where they are emotionally and don't give up. Don't give up. It may be hard. It may feel like it's a thankless position. Even in my role where these women have done so much for me, I know sometimes they may have gotten discouraged into thinking they didn't have a return on it per se. But I am the woman that I am today because of the women who poured into me. And I just can't imagine, how do I return this? And so one day they're going to be in that position where they are going to return it in some capacity. And you don't do these things for a thank you. You don't do these to be recognized. You don't do this to get an award. You do this out of the goodness of your heart because you have now become the arms, the legs, the hugs, even sometimes the pocketbook of this person who is now deceased. And I mean that in the most respectful way possible. And we're going to walk through exactly what I mean by that. So number 2, keep your routine. So when my mom died, we lived in Eleuthero, and we had like a lot of her family members and friends lived in Nassau. And so I would literally, in my mind, I don't know what they perceived it as, I would beg for people to visit. Please come see us. I don't know who I was talking to. I don't recall exactly who I was asking to come over and over. But I do recall really saying, please come. Because it's like nobody wanted to come. Nobody wanted to step foot in the home because it was just so hard for them emotionally. And I can understand that. But sometimes you have to put your emotions to the side and really be what that child needs you to be. We needed people to show up. We needed people to come. And eventually people did come. But we needed it to be regular. So for example, if you came, in my case, if you come every Pineapple Fest, maybe you skip a year, but come, especially the first year. Come that first year and make it seem as normal as possible for that child. Because all they're thinking about in terms of their day-to-day life is, this is what we used to do. Last year, mommy was here. Last week, mommy was here. Last month, we did this. They're looking for routine. They're looking for regularity. And they look up and it's like nothing is regular. Nothing is the same. But try to bring as much normalcy as you can to the situation. I know for our first Christmas, which was really rough, my mom died on November 25th, and obviously Christmas is December 25th. But we spent that first Christmas with one of my mom's good friends. And instead of it being such an empty feeling like, oh my gosh, last Christmas we was doing this, it was a new experience. It was like, it was good to be around people who loved her just as much as we did. And it was new, so I couldn't compare it like, oh, this is so different, it feels so painful, it's so empty, it's so dull, nothing's happening. It was a different experience. And because they rallied around us at such an early point in time, it really helped to kind of contain what I call the window of grief, which is, I know some people, like for example, if you lose your parent on the 25th, like I did, every 25th becomes a sore point. And if people rally around you and they help you, through your experience, especially early on, and help you to create some normalcy, instead of me being pained every 25th, only on a small window around November 25th am I in pain. And that is because of community. So you show up. If you would always go and visit your friend in the summertime, say they lived in Miami, go to Miami. You may not stay at the house this time, out of respect for the grieving husband and the nuances that may come with that situation. Maybe you stay at a hotel, you meet the children up for lunch, you take them out, they stay with you at the hotel, depending on how the relationship is. But you make sure that you are there and you're doing what you used to do in the same routine. So I also have, if you, like I said, if you live in another country, go and visit. If you would visit like every Sunday, if you would show up every Sunday, keep showing up. It may be hard to go in the home. You may break down as soon as you get in the car. You may break down when you get in the house. But you know that you are doing something to change the life of someone else. You are showing up. You're showing up, and that's all they ask you to do. Just keep the routine that you had before. Number 3, be present. And this may sound like the same thing, but it's actually not. For you, that could be every birthday, I'm going to show up. Or every so often, I'll take them out for lunch. Or let's schedule a phone call or FaceTime. Or I go to your graduation. I go to your rehearsals. If it's a basketball player, I go to your basketball games. If they play football, go to your football games. But make sure that you are physically present at least a few times a year in the life of that person. I don't care if you didn't do it when the mother was alive, if you were a sucky godparent and you didn't show up and you just sent your couple dollars, make sure that when this person has passed away, that you put everything aside to show up in that child's life at least once a year. It may seem like nothing to you, like, oh, they don't need me to show up, but yes, they do. You don't know what that's doing in their lives. And for our case, my godparents, either it was my godparent or my sister's godparents, they would show up. I was rude. I was a lot to handle as a teenager. I was just very emotionally upset. I wanted my mom so bad, and the more I was around people, the more I realized that no one was like her, and it just broke my spirit. And so I would have people who would see me acting out, to my uncle, because we actually lived with my uncle after my mom died. 2 years later, we moved with my uncle. We moved in with my uncle. And they would come and they would take me for like car rides and talk to me. And I just want to say a particular thing right here too, a little caveat. Don't think just because you're a male, you don't have a responsibility either. My mom's first cousin, who we call Uncle, would pick us up and go on drives, and he knew about every single boyfriend I had throughout all my teenage years because he made a point to be involved with our lives and talk to us and give us real advice. And that helped me so much. So don't think because you're a male figure in that person's life, whether it's a male or a woman who's a male child or a girl child who's left behind, don't think that you have nothing to offer. Show up. Be present in the life of this person. It does make a difference. I promise you. You see me today. I'm whole. I'm healed. I'm going into Mother's Day and I don't feel like I'm about to break down crying. And yes, it's because of Christ, but it's also because of the people that Christ put in my life. These figures in my life who really made a difference in helping me be the woman that I am today. Number 4, fill in the gaps. Wherever you are needed, fill in the gaps. So you may see that, okay, they're starting school, their dad may have gotten their uniforms, but maybe they need socks, maybe they need shoes, maybe they need a backpack, maybe they need a couple dollars for lunch money. Any gap you perceive, listen, fill it. Fill it. Don't wait to be asked, just fill it. And it could mean different things. For me, it looked like buying Capri Sun. I had a great aunt who would buy Capri Sun. It could be paying a couple dollars extra on school fee. It could be getting books. It could be helping them with their everyday clothes in the summertime. And I had a godmother who would actually help us purchase stuff each semester for school. Isn't that amazing? She would actually come with us and help us select items for school. That was an incredible experience to have that type of person in our life who would invest actual physical presence and finances into our lives. Another one of my mom's best friends would actually give us money every month. It wasn't a lot of money in the grand scheme of things, but it made a huge difference to a college student. That $100, $150, even if it's $50, that makes such a huge difference. And you come to rely on that as a college student. That made such a great difference to know that every month someone is thinking about me and they care so much about me that they actually made me an automated deposit. I'm set up where I get this every month. That's an amazing feeling, to feel like someone has your back, someone has your best interest at heart. You can do that exact same thing. You can send money on birthdays. You can send, and it doesn't have to be a lot of money like I said, but it's just something to say, hey, I'm thinking about you and I'm investing in you tangibly. It could be advice. I had people help me pick universities, and that's something important. I had one of my mom's best friends took me to buy dresses for my first job. And I still have some of them today. I would never give them away because that meant something to me, that this person was with me through that experience. And you can do that too. And they didn't wait for me to ask, hey, can you take me? They didn't wait. They just took me. And I think that made such a huge difference to know that someone is actually going out of their way to invest in me as an individual, who cares about me not being a statistic, who wants me to excel and succeed in life, and I'm not an afterthought. And so often we get so consumed in our own grief or our own day-to-day that it's an afterthought. Oh yeah, I really need to check on so-and-so. She lost some money and I know she must be going through it. Like, no, as soon as you think about them, reach out. Make sure that you see them at least once a year. Make sure that you're investing in them, whether it be advice or tangibly or whatever it may be, a ride to school. Whatever you can do, make sure you invest in that individual and just be present. Show up. Please show up. Don't put your grief ahead of theirs. Finally, don't try to replace. Supplement. And I think this is a very tricky one. There can become a thin line where you feel like, I need to be their all in all. They lost their mom. No. In their eyes, no one can replace the person that they lost. No one. I don't care if she has a twin sister. No one is mom. That twin sister is not mom. No one is mom. What you can do is supplement this loss. You can, especially if it's a group of you doing this, you can fill in little gaps to a point where this person has no need. No, they don't have an opportunity to think about lack. Emotionally, they got someone they can talk to. Financially, they have someone they can reach out to. For advice, they have someone they can reach out to. You have different people who have different strengths, and all of you come together and you fill in these gaps. You're not trying to be mom. You're trying to be the best auntie you could be, the best cousin you could be, the best sister you could be. You know, especially if it's a young child and your older sister filling in the gaps. The best godmother you can be, the best friend of the person you lost you could be. You know, the best whatever it is that you can be, do that. They're not asking for mom. You're not trying to be mom. Please understand, you're not trying to be mom. They're not expecting that of you. That's a mantle that you can never afford to bear. They just need you to be active and present as you. Whatever it is that you bring. My godmothers, I don't need them to be my mom. I need them to be them. And I love them. I love that about them. I love that I have so many people that my mother left behind, gems, true gems. Like to a point where I lost my mom at 12 years old. And I'm now almost 30, and these women are still in my life, and they've invested so much in me. I can't think of an occasion when I didn't have them to rely on. I can show up at the house today, and I have them to rely on. And that's such a beautiful thing. And I want more and more people to experience that, to have this support system rally around them. And yes, I had moments of darkness. I had moments when I didn't let people in, but I knew that I had a place to go when I came out of that. It's not like I had no one. I may have made that situation for myself, but in reality, I did have a community. I knew that when I got my head out of the sand, if I really wanted to reach out for someone, I knew I had someone to reach out to. And that's so important. So if you're a friend and your friend died and you're wondering how you can support the life of that child, those are your tips. Those are your 5 tips. Number 1, meet them where they are emotionally. And embedded in that is your grief is not more important than theirs. You have to be mature and you have to put their grief first. Number 2, keep your routine. Whatever it is that you used to do, keep doing it because they need normalcy. They need, especially in the first year after mom died, they need things to feel as normal as possible. They don't need to see like, oh, this is so different now that mom isn't here. In such an empty way. They need to know that, you know, this is different, but it's also kind of the same, and people are trying with us. So number 3 is be present. I can't stress that enough. Just be present. Just show up. Please just show up. As soon as you think about them, say, oh, I gotta go see them. I gotta go over there. If they live far away, make it a point that you go and visit. Please remember me telling you this. Please be present. Number 4, fill in the gaps. Wherever they need you, you show up. Don't let them ask you. You show up. You be proactive. And finally, number 5, don't try to replace. Supplement. You can never be mom, but you can be the best you that they ever had. I love you all, and I pray this helps. And I pray that you're encouraged to support this person. And I want to send my personal condolences to you who are grieving the loss of someone you love. You know, you personally lost someone who was very important to you, and I don't take that lightly. And I just want to congratulate you and pat you on the back and just show so much appreciation to you for your desire to pour into the life of someone who really, really needs you. And I just wanted to say thank you in advance for what you're going to be in that person's life. I am the result of so many people pouring into me. And I don't know if you know me personally, if you follow me on any social media, but you see who I am today. I would not be who I am today without the women and the men who poured into my life and who became my support system at various stages of my life. I would not be this person. I may not even be here if it wasn't for them. And for those people, you know who you are. If you're watching this, thank you so much. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for everything that you did. For me, my brother, Zayn, and my sister, Shani, I appreciate you and I love you. And you went above and beyond anything my mother ever would have expected.